The Urban Monk. Here you are. This is a show about fitness today. We're talking with Jennifer Cohen, who has been a fitness guru forever. And she's real because when you run those miles and you've been there, you realize it's not the next fad that comes up, but it's about your attitude and your approach to fitness and staying active. This was a really kind of fun, in-passing conversation. She didn't even know it was video, so she's just holding up her phone and we hung out. Come hang out with us.
Okay.
So, it's a funny thing being a fitness authority. Like, what the hell does that mean? Is it?
That means nothing, actually. That's like a very silly euphemism, is what it is.
Yep.
It means that I'm in the health and fitness business, and I do a lot of different things in the space. And I think that someone else somewhere along the line just kept on giving me different titles. They said authority, they said expert, they said guru. I mean, it's all kind of interchangeable for just a fitness professional, so to speak.
How hard is it to be a guru? Oh my God, that means like wherever you are, someone's gonna walk up and be like, let me see your abs.
That's true, and it gets harder as you get older, right?
Oh man.
A lot of pressure.
I think you got kids too, right?
Yeah, I got two babies. I have a 3-year-old and I have a 1-year-old.
Babies. Yeah.
Like babies. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're just starting to sleep with the 1-year-old, like
barely. I'm still in the weeds. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm like still in the weeds, tortured by it.
Oh yeah, I got a 2-and-change-year-old and an 8-month-old. So right there with you, sister.
Oh wow,
yeah.
That is good for wow. I mean,
Yeah.
So you get it, so you understand. So when you have kids, you kind of understand and feel the pain with the rest of us.
Yeah, and I was so smug about it earlier in life, and be like, so what? So you had a couple kids, and then I did it myself, and I was like, oh yeah, you're really freaking tired. I get it now.
No kidding. Not only are you freaking tired, you also have to be really good at managing your time and be more efficient in a time when you're super tired and exhausted, like all the other stuff that goes on with it.
Yeah.
But you're also like the father, so like you're not. I mean, I don't even know for sure, but you do have a wife, right? Or no?
I do. And
okay.
She's great, and she handles it. She handles it and holds down way more than I do on that front. So the math pencils. So because I work my ass off and I'm never in town.
Yeah. You're like my husband. He works his ass off and he's never in town. But the problem is I also work my ass off and I kind of have to be in town and have kids.
Yeah.
But listen, this is not a therapy session, is it? Are you also a shrink? Because I can lie down on the couch behind me and really give you a whole session, a really good 45 minutes.
Yeah, it might work. We'll just dissect the whole thing here, right? So
that would be awesome.
You actually have a title that I love. This is an older book with Random House in 2014 called "Strong is the New Skinny." And, skinny is just such a bitch. It's so hard to do skinny because what does that even mean? Like I used to treat fashion models back in the clinic and they'd be allowed to eat 1 hard-boiled egg a day and, they have some jackass ridiculing them about how fat they were.
Right.
And skinny was aspirational. So how did you step out in front of that?
Well, I think kind of to your point, I believe that not everybody can be skinny, but everybody can be strong. And I try to really shift the conversation away from something that really can be unattainable, like you said, for probably 95% of the population, and give them give people, including myself, some kind of an attainable goal to try to achieve and strive for, not only because it's realistic and attainable, but also because when you don't do that, it plays on your psyche. And really, just as important as it is to be like physically happy with yourself, being mentally strong and mentally happy translates physically. So I just think that overall, it's a better message to give out to people, young girls, old girls, whoever, and people in general. And that's kind of where it came from, because I was one of those people. I mean, I am that girl. So
Which girl?
I am that girl who, I was never the kind of person that was naturally super skinny. So it would play on it would bother me a lot, like as I was like a teenager growing up, and you see other girls who are thinner than you. There's always going to be someone who's thinner, who's skinnier, whatever. And it just it just plays on your self-esteem. And so early on in life, I realized, thankfully, that this is not something that I want to live with and kind of be a prisoner to. And I reframed what it was to be beautiful in my own head. And then I try to really execute that forward by, like I said, shifting the message, shifting what it really meant to be attractive, and giving people, yourself, myself, attainable goals to achieve. And that also just helps build on your self-esteem, and then gives you more self-esteem when you actually have a goal and then you achieve that goal. It gives you more incentive. It gives you more incentive and more confidence to keep on going. So it's beyond just the physical, is what my point is.
What'd you start doing when you kind of came to that and realized that skinny wasn't the answer, or at least the answer for you? What ended up becoming the habits that you started rolling with that kind of created the new you?
Well, I think that what happened with me personally was, I'm a Jewish girl, and us Jews love food, number one. And everything was around everything socializing was food related. When I'm eating breakfast, what am I going to have for lunch? What's going to be for dinner? And then you're constantly your mother, and everyone's basically feeding you 24 hours a day, where I kind of had to do something where I love to eat too. I had to balance my insatiable appetite with something that was balancing. So I started to take fitness seriously. And when I started doing that, I feel like it kind of, that helped shift where my head was, where I wasn't even trying to be skinny anymore. I was trying to have different goals I was trying to attain, like how far I can run, how fast I can run, how far I can bike, doing different activities. I started taking up different things in the fitness space or the athletic space, like tennis. So I think once I started to figure out a way to kind of balance my appetite and my need and desire for food, and focus it on something that was fitness related, that's when it all kind of started to come to be.
That's such a wonderful, simple solution that makes so much sense. Yeah, and so the thing that people fixate on is how I look, how much I weigh, all the bullshit, right? Versus, hey, I really kind of like running, and so tomorrow let me see if I can run a little further. Or, if I could jump on this box, maybe I could jump on this other box that's a little higher.
Right.
And the goals are way different because they're not vanity metrics, which makes us crazy. So when you kind of converted that over in your head and you just started doing cool stuff, what did you start seeing? I mean, obviously physically and mentally.
Exactly what you were to exactly that. What was happening was my confidence level, my self-esteem, all were shifting to a positive place versus focusing on all this negative talk in your brain about being not skinny enough, not thin enough, not this enough, because the reality is, even when you are a size 0, these girls want to be a -2. I mean, you're never happy, and it just becomes like a vicious cycle of negativity and just a poor sense of self, versus trying to get away from that into something much more positive.
Most people hate the gym. You hate the gym.
Yes.
The gym sucks.
I don't hate the gym. I say there's an alternative to the gym. The gym isn't it does suck. But as long as you're doing something, my whole point, didn't mean to interrupt you, but it's not that I hate the gym. It's that I want to give people a different alternative. So if they don't like the gym, that's not enough of an excuse not to do nothing. So you have to do something. So if you don't like the gym, work out of the gym. The gym does suck. It takes up, it's a time suck to get to the gym, to get dressed for the gym, to come home from the gym. It's just as effective, if not way more effective, to just be outside or in your house or figure out other ways with apps, and which I have, which is a whole other story altogether, that are great alternatives to the gym.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like going to the gym because the people that go to the gym are the people that look like they go to the gym, and the people that need to go to the gym are ashamed of going to the gym oftentimes, right?
That's
so
true.
All these muscle men and all these hot ladies and tight pants, and look, if you're 40 pounds overweight and you're just trying to get moving again, that's kind of an intimidating place to show up and start your fitness routine. It's very judgmental, and it's very, even if people aren't judging you, you feel like they are.
Yeah. It's true. It can be very intimidating for somebody, for sure. And you're right. When you look around, a lot of times there are people who are fanatical about the gym, and you can tell they've been there, they're comfortable there. So it's not a comfortable place for somebody who's either just starting out or who has insecurities in general about their bodies. It can be a very body shaming. Did you see that thing recently about that Playboy playmate who was at the gym, and she took a picture of somebody at the gym who was obviously in her opinion was not, who wasn't hot enough for her, and she actually shamed her on like social media, it got a lot of coverage. It was like all over, it went viral. Some Playboy playmate, she just took a picture saying, how do I unsee this image?
Oh no.
Yeah. And it's just like, but I'm saying like it's like a disgusting, and that's, but people have to, and then that's what people have to deal with. It's a very awful, we live in a mean and awful society as it is. So
junior high never stopped, right? It's still those same idiot kids being gross and ruthless. So you've been around the fitness block. You've been, you've worked with Muscle Milk and Weight Watchers and all sorts of stuff. I mean, you've been around. You've been doing stuff in the industry. One of the things that is the hardest for any of us to grasp is to change the micro habits of people to actually instill fitness habits into their lives. So what are you doing to help people actually do the little things it takes to make fitness part of their routine, so that fitness is actually something that can continue to grow in someone's life where stagnation is so much easier to do?
Right. Well, and I'm sure you know this and you hear this all the time. Everything is about building habits and making something a ritual and having something to be habitual. So it's like brushing your teeth. So really it's like, how do you make it so people feel the same urge to work out as they do to eat lunch or to take a shower, right? That's like the crux of everything. How to make this a behavioral thing where it's just part of your day-to-day life. And the reality is that I feel, as maybe you do too, that it's something different for everybody. So what makes me tick is not the same thing that's going to make you tick, and vice versa. So it's like figuring out what is that thing in that person. So some people need, you want to incentivize them by giving them something where they do this and they can have that, But the overall thing is giving people like doing baby steps and giving them small goals to achieve. So even if it's something incentivizing, like, okay, if I do it this today, then, or I do this for 5 days in a row, I get to, go to my favorite restaurant, or I get to go away for a weekend, or whatever it is. But more than any of that, that's just at the beginning to get somebody to kind of get to the point where they're actually doing it. I really believe, and I've seen many times, that once someone does see a change and they do get to a certain point, a threshold, they in themselves started that routine. So after usually 3 weeks of someone doing something, and then on top of that, feeling better and seeing some kind of progression, that in itself helps propel the situation. So it's really just figuring out what that person needs in that finite period of time to make it a habit for themselves.
And so for you, the magic number is somewhere around 3 weeks, where if you can...
I think 3 weeks, because that's when you start really seeing seeing and feeling a difference. Mm-hmm. Like for me, even if I am exhausted and I don't want to work out, I actually now force myself, right? Because I know I'll feel that much worse if I don't do it, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. So I feel you kind of get addicted to the rush and the endorphins. I mean, I don't know about you. Are you a workout person?
I'm a mountain person. I'm a kung fu person. I'm definitely a workout person, but I've also learned to be a listen to your body person, because I get a lot of injuries. And so, sometimes banging through that run isn't the answer, but doing 100 push-ups is. And so I've learned the hard way to listen so that I don't hurt myself.
Yeah, no, I think that's me, and I hear that and I agree with that. That's why it doesn't necessarily have to be a run or something intense, mm-hmm. but just getting moving and breaking a sweat. It could be a little bit of yoga. It could be walking around the block. It could be doing some high. It doesn't have to be something that's going to be so rigorous. But yeah, I see your point, because I also find the more active you are, the more injuries you're going to have, right?
Whether you like it or not, you
Yeah.
know, and you know the you know, I'm a downhill skier. I've done all kinds of crazy stuff in my life, and you know sometimes you fall, and so
Right.
you know, and one of the things I see that's a big challenge, especially with you know, in urban culture, is kind of weekend warriors, where you know you're sitting around at a desk crunching spreadsheets or whatever the hell it is, and then
Right.
you go do some crazy class on the weekend, and your hip flexors were too tight, and the back starts to hurt, but then you run through it, and then the knees start to go, and so one of these things I see a lot is these yo-yo injuries that happen around fitness with people whose bodies just aren't functionally fit.
Right.
And that's kind of new in our culture, is, you know, people would just go to boot camp and, you know, either get skinny or kill themselves trying. And so, you know, how do you deal with people who come in with that kind of go for it mentality, that aren't quite ready for like aggressive fitness yet?
Well, I think that's well, you're right. It's all the all or nothing type of thing, right? I like you call it the weekend warrior. That never lasts. That's not sustainable, right? So you have to kind of manage people's expectations and manage people's like abilities, to be honest. Like that's like people going to do CrossFit. They've never done a thing in their life, and they're now they're going to try powerlifting at CrossFit. It's to me, it's stupid. And it's not about me, it's about me managing it to a certain point. But at the end of the day, you get hurt, you get burnt out, and then it basically nothing happens. It's about slow and steady wins the race. But teaching people how to do that, how to kind of break this down and say, okay, what is your long-term goal? What is your short-term goal? Work towards the short-term, medium, like have like stages or phases, and hopefully people are susceptible, they want to listen to that and they want to partake in that. And sometimes they don't, and they go balls to the wall, and then they get hurt, and then it's done. But that's just it's personality, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, and even if it's not your personality, I think a lot of people have been duped into thinking that's what fitness is like, rah, you know, like, you know, suck it up, you know, we're going for this run. And it's just like, well, let me tie my shoelaces. Like,
yeah. Let me tell you exactly.
Yeah. And
That's
so,
true.
you know, it's hard. I mean, you've been around fitness for a long time. You've seen a lot of things come and go. You're a fitness person, because that's how you define yourself, right? You're a fitness person.
I actually don't. That's why I don't really say I'm a fitness person that much anymore. I feel like it's been phases. Fitness, health, wellness. I'm more now a wellness coach. I do a lot. I don't know if you know this about my bio, but I did create a fitness app called Hot 5 to kind of answer the question to what you were saying about giving people alternatives to then, you know, to just going from like 0 to 60. And this app is called, like I said, Hot 5. They're 5-minute workouts in every area of your body. It's a body type workout plus different types. So it's like cardio, it's strength, it's yoga, and you can stack the workout. So a lot of times I tell people, actually now not anymore, I just got acquired, it got bought by Weight Watchers. So Weight Watchers is now going to be doing something with it. But we had millions of downloads, and we did very well because we were able to give people an alternative in their home, in their hotel, where they can do these 5-minute workouts or stack the workouts to 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and kind of get a varied workout. So anyway, I've been doing that a lot. So I guess that's not really, I guess you could say it's because of my fitness expertise, but
sure. Well, that's the funny part, right? You're also an app person, you're a mom person, you're probably
I am
an LA person.
I'm a corporate wellness person. I've been focusing a lot on the corporate wellness stuff, and a lot of and I do a lot of writing. So I write my columns in my Entrepreneur magazine and Forbes magazine. So I'm kind of like an overall health person now, wellness person. I guess you could call it.
How do you write?
Silly euphemisms. What?
Yeah, those, you know, they're all masks, right? It's like I'm just me. Damn it, let me be.
Yeah, I'm like, I do a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
How do you write? Because writing is so much work at either a desk or a stand-up desk, or do you sit with a laptop? You know, someone who wants to be active has to, but yet, you know, gets paid to sit around and type. How do you go from those kind of crunchy body postures to, you know, active daily life without hurting yourself? And how do you balance all that?
Oh, so basically, how do I balance life, basically?
Well, yeah, between stagnation and activity.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, listen, I do. I mean, how do I balance it? I'm kind of, how do I balance between stagnation and activity? In what sense, though? Is it through just because I write and I do all these? It's choppy and fragmented what I do,
Yeah,
or
like
just?
I mean, look, I've been sitting here doing interviews all day. My hips are tight, right? And so if I go for a run right after this, it's going to hurt me, right?
Right. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I feel me, because I'm a busy mom. I'm constantly moving. My problem is I don't ever have a chance to sit down. So I have to actually schedule times where I actually sit still and even meditate for 5 minutes at a time to find a balance of calm. That's most moms, most busy moms, right? Someone like you're sitting all day, like you said, and if you want to then rev it up a bit, how are you going to do that? You're going to have to stretch. You're going to roll out your hips. You're going to have to like get ready to do to do that active movement. Now, I don't know if that answers your question. I don't even think I even understood the question, but I answered it the way I thought you said it. So, I mean,
what do you think is the future of heart rate monitors with fitness? Do you use them? Is your app tied to them?
Yeah, funnily enough, I was a spokesperson for Polar Heart Rate for 4 years. I just stopped working with them very recently. I'm a big believer. I think that's the best way to work out. I think it makes your workouts more efficient. I think it actually is a way to kind of know exactly where you are, because a lot of people, not only are they working out sometimes not intense enough, they're working out too intensely. As you know, as being a doctor, that could be just as hard on your body with adrenals and everything else. I think it's a great it's a great indicator of where you are and where you should be. And I've been a believer of these for years and years and years. I'm happy that now they're becoming more popular, but yeah, that's my opinion. What do you think?
I like it. I think, early on, everyone was, such a strong advocate for it. Staying in that fat burning zone, it's important. I think functional lifting and, just getting core stability and being able to do a clean deadlift and all those things are really important for certain types of people. And it's not all just cardio, right? But
Right.
intelligence with data is really good, right? And so I think this whole realm has opened up. I mean, it used to just be the exercise physiology guys that they do these tests in the lab, and you do your VO2 max, and you find your fat burning rates and all this, and it was for elite athletes. The fact that now anyone can get a heart rate monitor, watch, or app, and then just go for it, I'm seeing the results. I mean, for me, I see better results with people who are using data-driven exercise, and to me, that's beyond faith. It's experience. It's like, holy crap, that's working.
Right. Well, I think there's two things. I think it's really important to have some kind of accountability. So with all the devices, even not so much with the heart rate, having someone to have, when they have something to look at where they can see how many steps they've done or how many calories or how much this, it gives them a place where they can go back and be like, okay, well, yesterday I did this, so let me try to at least match that, if not get a little bit more. So the accountability factor is, I think, extremely important to keep someone on track if they have a real goal to achieve. The other thing is about the heart rate. I think when I was talking about not heart rate monitors they have a lot of different usages, but when you have a very minimum amount of time and you need to you got to maximize your efforts in a very minimum amount of time. That's when I think the heart rate monitor is extremely efficient and effective. You're right. It's not the greatest thing when you're doing strength and conditioning. I think you have to have a holistic approach to fitness, obviously, but that's what I like the heart rate monitor for. Yep. Again, because I'm taking it from a busy mom standpoint where I have I have 25 minutes. How am I going to get the biggest bang for my buck? I'm going to strap this heart rate monitor on me, and I'm going to make sure that I'm doing what I need to do in that time.
Yeah, you know what? I think that you're not alone. Everyone's so damn busy now, and it's just so hard to get it in. We were talking about Southern California, and the reason why I live an hour south of LA is because, frankly, I just don't want to sit in that traffic anymore. Right. It was taking 2 hours out of my day. It's 2 hours away from my kids, 2 hours away from workout or whatever. More work if I want to be, crazy about it. But, these are lifestyle choices you have to make, because fitness doesn't just happen, right? You don't just, an hour doesn't just magically show up in anyone's life. You have to go find it. And so for you fight for those 25 minutes, presumably, right?
Right, exactly. I do. hopefully sometimes 30 minutes, but yes.
Look, I'm a fan of what you're doing. I think it's great. I mean, the fact that you got acquired, that means that your app was working and Weight Watchers was watching. So that's really good news.
Yes, it was good.
What advice do you have for my listeners and my viewers who are trying to find fitness in their life and are finding struggles with time, with motivation, with energy? Like, how does one get started to just start a lifestyle of fitness?
Schedule it. Schedule 10 minutes a day like you would anything else. Schedule like you would a phone call, like you would schedule a meeting, a doctor's appointment, a hair appointment. People are much less likely to not do something if it's not in their calendar as a scheduled meeting, so to speak. Starting slow and either just picking up something and also doing something that you like. People always ask me, what's the best thing to do to lose weight? What's the best thing to do for this? The best thing to do is what you actually have interest or like doing. I mean, I'm not going to tell someone to go running if they absolutely despise running. Some people, it's dancing. They love to dance. So dancing is a great activity that keeps you active and burns calories. It's not always about, like we're saying, go, 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 go. Sometimes it's about just doing something to get moving and finding whatever that is, trying out a bunch of different things that can be your thing. That's a great thing, like taking up a tennis lesson, taking up or finding a buddy to work with, so who helps motivate you. That accountability aspect is so important, like a buddy, your husband, your wife, whoever it is. Like, eliminate all the places where you could find a reason not to do it, and find reasons to do it, and then schedule it and be consistent.
I love it. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that consistency and scheduling and accountability, these are all the things. I know people hear it all the time, but the reason why they hear it all the time is because it's the actual things that work. There is no secret potion. I'm not going to sit here and tell you something that you've never heard before that you're going to be like, wow, I've never heard that before.
That's why I'm fat.
Yeah, exactly. Like, really? I'm not supposed to have 4 packs of Doritos and watch Netflix for 4 hours? No, I mean, I'm not telling you anything different. What I'm just saying to you is just actually figure out a way that you can execute on that plan. And what you do versus what she does could be different. But maybe it's the fact that, like, you just don't like the gym, or you don't like the run, you don't like the weights. Maybe it's that you have to, like, sign up for some kind of 10K, and then that makes you, and then you put it out there on social media. I'm running a 10K. So then you feel this accountability where then you have to practice and you got to do it and you got to train for it. I mean, really, I guess at the end of the day, it's about knowing yourself well enough to know what your pitfalls are going to be and what's going to make you, go that extra step and what's not, and then avoid those things and schedule things that will help you.
Yeah, and listen, if you're old enough to listen to this show, you're old enough to know where you dropped the ball last time. So
right, exactly.
find that out and pick it up.
Another thing is, if some people can't do it. Are you okay?
I'm just dying.
Yeah. All right. Well, you're a doctor. You could help yourself. That I think working out in the morning is a crucial element. I think that's very important. I think the longer you wait in the day, the less likely it is that you're going to actually do it. So if you can schedule something, like I said, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes in the morning, it's better. It's better than doing it in the evening. And usually that 5 or 10 minutes, 95% of the time, it's the hardest part is just starting. So once you start, that 5 minutes will usually go for another 20 minutes or 50 minutes. It's that actual, like, getting your shoes on and starting the movement and getting your heart rate going. Not to go back to the whole heart rate thing, but you know what I mean?
Well, listen, it's important. So 5 or 10 minutes is enough if you can get it?
No, it's not. It's not that it's enough. It's a start. So it's about, you asked me about how to get someone who's not motivated to start and then continue.
Got it.
It's to say 5-10 minutes. Don't give someone a lofty goal and say, you're going to have to, like, now do the Ironman. You're going to have to, like, run for an hour and then, like, do trails and then the CrossFit. No, say, you know what? Start by doing this. Start by doing that. I had a weight loss show years ago, and I'm happy to say that out of all 12 people on the show, 10 of them actually maintained their weight loss and then some, because we did it a little bit differently. We gave them a program that was actually workable, and then worked with them afterwards to figure out ways that they're going to stay on track. And that was not so crazy lofty. And it actually like made a big difference. And then when they scheduled the workouts and that, like, they started their habit started early by like, okay, every day at 8:15, you're going to do your workout between 8:15 and 8:30. You know, you had it, you saw that on the thing. You had this buddy. Everything was in place for success, and that becomes your ritual and your habit, and it helps you move for longevity as well.
Love it. Love it. That's, you know what, that's sage wisdom, and it's all about, you know, the stuff that happens on TV, you know, it's a flash in the pan. You look at The Biggest Loser, most of those people gain the weight back, and it's
they
kind of
all
a tragedy.
do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tragedy.
And they gain more than they actually started with, which is even more of a tragedy.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the dark side of fitness, kind of media, right? Is, you know, it's a lot of that stuff is bullshit. So good, sensible, clean living, doing what you enjoy, having accountability, scheduling it out, really staying focused and consistent. This is all just sage wisdom. It's not flash in the pan stuff. And
it's also, it's not exciting. No one wants to hear that. They want me to tell them something that's totally different. They want me to say, sit in an ice bucket in the bathtub for 20 minutes, or do this, or do whatever the newest fad and trick is, you know, all these other crazy things everyone's doing now. And like everything else, it just becomes a fad, and then people forget about that because nobody wants to hear the real deal, which actually works.
Yeah, and it's just sensible stuff that's always worked.
Exactly. Yeah. It's sensible.
Yeah. Listen, Jennifer, I love your message. I think it's refreshing because there's just so much noise in the channel and bullshit out there. So thank you for holding it down and being true.
You're welcome.
How do people find you?
They can find me on Facebook. They can find me on Instagram. They can find me on all the usual handles. The Real Jen Cohen.
The Real Jen Cohen. All right, we'll put links there. Hey, thanks for your time. I know you've been traveling. You're in a hotel room and pulled over to do the show, and I thank you for it because this was fun.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
I hope you enjoyed it. Short and sweet. She has a great energy. She's been around. She knows what she's talking about. And it's nice, right? You know, you have this shame-based fitness. You have this fad-based fitness. You have all this crap that comes up. Let's just get real. Let's just get moving. And let's just get to work and find what makes our lives work, right? Fitness isn't something you should do. It's something that is part of you. And I hope you can find that in yourself. I got a bunch of really good resources in the Urban Monk Reboot. If you haven't done it already, theurbanmonk.com/reboot. I got Kung Fu stances, I have office workouts. All these are free videos I've created for you. So check those out and start to implement those in your life, and I know you'll enjoy it. I got some previous episodes you can check out wherever you're at. If you're in the video feed, they're just over here on my side. Subscribe below me. And if you're on an audio feed, just go to the subscribe button and let me know what you think. Comments help me understand where to steer this ship. And if I don't hear from you, I don't know. I'm just going to keep going off and doing my own thing. And it gets lonely. Just kidding. I love you. I love having you around. And this has been fun for me. I will see you next week.